Hello, and welcome back to Mutt's American Crime, a show where we shine a cold light on the darkest corners of American crime and the lives lost to it. Today's episode takes us to Virginia Beach and Chesapeake, Virginia, to a woman who served her country and died because she stood up for herself. This is the story of Melisa M Harrington, known to her friends and family as Bunny. She was a sailor, a wife, a daughter, and a sister, and until the man she reported came back for revenge, a survivor. You see, this case for me, I feel I need to explain, holds a very unique place for me. You see, at the time of this abduction and murder in 1991, I lived only a few blocks from where her body was found, in the home of her abductor and killer. In fact, on the screen now is the timeline, excuse me, for the incidents that occurred. Feel free to take a look for yourselves. Now, let's get back to the story. Melisa Bunny Harrington was many things: a daughter, a shipmate, a proud sailor in the U.S. Navy. She served aboard the USS L.Y. Spear, AS-36, a submarine tender once homeported here in Norfolk, Virginia. As a boatswain's mate, she held a physically demanding job, often working topside, managing lines, operating cranes, and overseeing deck operations in the field dominated by men. Melisa stood tall. She was respected. She was also married to Chief Petty Officer Joseph Harrington, a career sailor in his own right. They had a quiet life in Virginia Beach. To neighbors, she was warm and polite. To shipmates, tough as nails. To her close friends, she was just Bunny. But Bunny had an enemy. At some point during her naval service, Melisa reported a superior officer for sexual harassment. That officer, who had once been her division officer, was investigated and ultimately removed from the Navy. By all accounts, Bunny did the right thing. She followed the rules. She spoke out. But she didn't know the danger she had just invited for herself. Because that man, Charborough, I believe is his last name, never let go of his grudge. When investigators later searched his home, they found what no one expected: a diary. Pages and pages of obsessed thoughts, entries detailing his movements, notes about where Melisa shopped, what time she came and went, stalking, premeditated, and obsessive. He was watching her. In the summer of 1991, Melisa went missing from her home in Virginia Beach. Her husband had been away on duty. When he returned, Melissa was gone. Friends and family immediately grew concerned. She wasn't the type to just disappear. A missing persons report was filed, and the community, military and civilian, searched tirelessly. A few days later, Melissa's body was found in the Chesapeake neighborhood of Albemarle Acres. She had been murdered. Her body left in the house of her killer, deliberately concealed. The autopsy would confirm what detectives feared. This was a planned killing. The investigators would lead back to Charborough, his background, his grudge, his diary, as well as his lifelong friend, whose last name was Berkeley, who had assisted him in this crime. He was arrested, both of them were, and charged with Melissa's abduction, rape, and murder. The case sent shockwaves through both the local naval community and national advocacy groups. It raised questions about how the military tracks discharged offenders, how stalking, even by former personnel, can lead to fatal consequences, and whether survivors like Bunny are truly protected when they speak up. Melisa Bunny Harrington was indeed brave, both in uniform and out of it. She stood up for abuse, or stood up to abuse, I should say. She refused to be silent. She served with honor and paid the ultimate price because someone couldn't let go or take no for an answer. Her story is a reminder of the unseen dangers so many survivors face, even after they speak up, even after the paperwork clears, even after the offender is out of the system, quote unquote. Justice was eventually served in this case, but far too late. Bunny deserved better, and we remember her. Let's take a look for a moment at the actual timeline of events, shall we? September 29th, 1990. Melisa M Harrington turns down Andrew J. Charborough's offer to have an affair. November 23rd, 1990. Charborough learns that Harrington has made a sexual harassment complaint against him. July 9th, 1991. Charborough and his boyhood friend Stanley J. Berkeley abduct and rape Harrington, and then he kills her. Both are arrested in Charborough's house, where police find Harrington's body. Harrington's husband, Joseph H. Harrington, sues Charborough and Berkeley for $1.8 million in a civil case. February 28th, 1992, Charborough pleads guilty to capital murder rape, and abduction. March 25th, 1992, Circuit Court jury convicts Berkeley of first-degree murder, rape, and abduction, and recommends maximum sentences of 3 life terms in prison, plus $200,000 in fines. Sentencing is scheduled for August 14th. May 19th, 1992, Circuit Court Judge Russell L. Townsend Jr. faces Charborough sentence at death for capital murder, plus 2 life sentences for rape and abduction. 1992, July 2nd, Townsend formally sentences Charborough to death and sets October 2nd as the execution date. And I will say that, to my knowledge, that execution date was carried off on that day. This particular timeline was retrieved by yours truly from the archives of the Virginian Pilot and Ledger Star, the local newspaper of the time. Okay, hold on one second for me, folks. I'm sorry, I'm having a bit of difficulty. I want to take a moment and thank each of you for joining me today. On this episode of What's American Crime. If you see something, say something. If you or someone you know is dealing with stalking, harassment, or violence, please don't wait. Reach out. Help is available. I am the Celtic Mutt. Stay aware, stay safe, and honor the truth. Until next time, take care of yourselves and keep a sharp eye and a sharp ear out.